movement from going on strike. And after the NEC meeting, NLC put out a communique, and it's titled "Communique at the End of an Emergency National Executive Council Meeting (NEC) of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) held on Tuesday, the 6th day of June 2023." Part of what we have there is, the NLC, what do you call it, faulting the National Industrial Court for granting that order, and they say the federal government uses the instruments to intimidate, labor movements in the country over time. Would seek different perceptions, or seek different, maybe clarifications on this coming hours. But my guest this morning is one who is privy to some of these information. He's going to be sharing with us. His title is Gado, a sociologist and public affairs commentator. He's joining us in this conversation this morning. You too can be a part of the conversation by simply dialing the numbers 090-7353-0044 and 090-87668888. Send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 090-9705-4450. Mr. Gado, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Nacho. Good morning, Nigeria.
Glad to have you join us. Mr. Gado, how did you respond to, how would you respond to some of these statements in the media, the dailies, and even across social media that, NLC has sold out, on its plan to sold Nigerians out, by shelving the planned strike?
Well, I would want to say a beautiful morning to Nigerians, but one thing we must also understand is that the NLC is an organization that is out to defend the rights of workers and the rights of Nigerians. We must also not forget the fact that NLC has always played its part in ensuring that the plight of workers and the larger Nigerian society, the Nigerians, are addressed appropriately. Coming to this point where the NLC gave an ultimatum and started mobilizing for strike action, a lot of issues were put on ground, a lot of issues were considered. We must not forget that the issues that led to the ultimatum was the issue of the arbitrary price increase in the cost of PMS, which the NLC in its position and wisdom considered to be gross violation of the agreement that was entered into time before now, and also a violation of the provision of the PIA, Petroleum Industry Act, which was signed into law by the last administration. Most also prominent is the fact that it is a violation of the provision that was made for a subsidy to continue till the end of June. However, the position of the NLC has not changed. It continued in this regard, with the fact bearing in mind that the government was all out to ensure that it mobilized forces against the quest of the NLC for the Nigerian workers and the Nigerian populace. That being said, we saw a lot of propaganda, mischief, particularly by some social media influencers who have no knowledge, who have no idea, who are out for their own pocket gain, dishing out information, spewing all manner of lies and mischief. We have seen some of these things across our platforms. More so, the federal government arbitrarily decided to go to the industrial court, and it got an injunction restraining the NLC or trade union movement from embarking on the strike action. NLC over the years have been immersed in this level of power play by the government. We will not forget the fact that in 2012 the government did the same, 2015 they did the same. So we must understand that as a changing dynamics and the issues that comes up, the NLC in its wisdom attended the negotiation with the government, bearing in mind the issues at hand, and felt it was necessary to at this point look at some of those issues. We must not forget the fact that the crux of the issue was the reversion. I mean, let the government revert to the old price of the pump price of fuel. It attended the meeting very well. Issues were presented. If you have been following the media pictures, you will see some of the persons in that negotiation and leading the government team. You will see the former Labour leader there, Comrade Adams Oshomole. See Dr. Biamila also in that meeting. Now, why did the NLC decide to rescind in its decision? The fact is that, one, there is a court injunction restraining the strike action. Now, it is not only for the sake of the NLC or for the sake of the workers at the federal level. We understand that should the NLC decide to embark on strike, government may decide to use this against the workers, particularly in some states. And I can tell you, should the NLC have embarked on strike, there are some state governors that would have used this against the workers because they will believe there is a court injunction restraining the action. Some states in the southwest would have done that. I would want to say, for instance, a state like Lagos State, where the governor, where the president comes from, and where you have that is even a state that is akin to the governor. They may have decided to use that. They may have decided to use that even in some states in the north. Now, that being said, the position was also put forward to say, okay, fine, what are the alternatives? And the NLC has always provided alternative propositions to all of these issues. Number one of which was the issue of bringing on CNG as an alternative to fuel. Earlier, let's not forget, the TUC had gone into a negotiation with the government, and almost on the issues the TUC presented before the government, there were various issues, but they also looked at the issue of minimum wage. Let's not forget the NLC before now. It is said that now we are not talking about minimum wage alone. We're also going to talk about the issues because how many Nigerians are into paid employment? The average Nigerian on the street is not into paid employment. So he is going to suffer for it. But let's look at the issues. More so the fact that this subsidy is supposed to continue to the end of June. And NNPC Limited no longer has that jurisdiction to arbitrarily decide to increase the pump price of fuel due to the fact the deregulation that happened. All of these issues were considered. And I must understand that the issues Nigerians are having with the NLC. But we must understand that it is not only NLC that is in the struggle. We have a counterpart, which is the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. And as much as the position of NLC is clear, that of the TUC is also clear. But there must be some level of synergy between the two. And we must also understand that as a champion the cause, they have considered the various issues and issues that the government may use against the workers of Nigeria, particularly in most states that we find ourselves. And so the NLC is doing all that it can. It is not as if the NLC has betrayed the cause of Nigerians. Never. It is never, and it has not been in the character of the NLC, for which I want to believe that I know, to want to do that. But there are issues that happen that the man on the street may not understand. Because there are procedures to everything that must be followed to the latter. And NLC has considered all of these options and has come up with various arrangements and various agreements that has been entered into with the government, which the government has also keyed into to ensure that, okay, fine, we have minimum period for which all of these things will be implemented. And so we'll do the best we can in synergy with the labor movement to ensure that all of these issues are attended to and addressed within the shortest possible time.
Looking at the things, some of the demands or the requests put forward by the NLC and even the TUC, these are not things that can be done anytime soon. These are not things that can be achieved in the next 4 or 5 months. And Nigerians are looking for how to ameliorate their sufferings within the shortest possible time. The request to fix the refineries, rehabilitate the refineries, CNG conversion and all that stuff. It's going to take a while, and Nigerians will continue to endure this hardship during that period. What can be done to quickly ameliorate the issues? I know that NLC is also saying, oh, maybe looking at the conditional cash transfer that the previous administration talked about, and saying let's include, low income earners. But then, would that in any way, ameliorate their sufferings?
Well, so I am not. I'm not speaking as a spokesman for the NLC.
I totally get that.
Yes, and I will not do that. But I want to. I want to speak based on some of the things that I believe I understand with the workings of the labor union.
No, so what I'm asking is, in your perception, in your opinion, what would be one of the best way to cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy removal? Because just this morning I hear that some hill cab drivers are going on strike. That would create more suffering for Nigerians who rely on these cab services or taxi services to get to their destinations. What do you think can be done to, in the meantime, cushion the effect of this fuel subsidy removal?
Yes, the thing is this: the ball lies with Nigerians, and the NLC haven't gone into this agreement, recent agreement. The government has said that they will do the best they can within the shortest possible time. The issue of palliative, yes, they are trying to look at it, even though I, as a person, I am very, very reserved about it, given the the experience with the Nigerian government and how all of these things work. But they have said that they want to bring the labor movement. I don't want to use NLC alone because it's not only NLC that is in this. So the labor movement into the fold to ensure that there is a proper implementation. It has also given the assurance of ensuring that within the shortest possible time, the alternative to fuel will also be there within the shortest possible time. Revitalization of our refineries, they have given the assurance that within the shortest possible time as well. But by and large, while we wait for all of those things, we know that the hardship will be biting so hard on Nigerians. Again, the ball lies in the court of Nigerians. The man on the street, the woman in the market, and to ask themselves, how best can they cope? What would they do? Because whether we like it or not, this is really biting. And whether we like it or not, the position of the government, this very government that is supposed to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians, for now, with this issue, regardless of the hidden benefits that they claim it will have on Nigerians, the fact is that it is biting hard. So what would Nigeria do? It is to call the government to order and ensure that government, these things must be implemented in earnest. In earnest. We have a country where, according to the MBS, in November 2022, projected that we have about 133 million Nigerians who are multidimensionally poor. This was in November 2022. So if you have a country with more than half of its population in poverty, and now you have created a situation that will deepen the poverty level of the country, it lies with Nigerians to say, what do we do? I wouldn't want to suggest give a suggestion that would cause issues. The Nigerians know what to do. If we are ready, we know what to do.
Well, let's look at the subnational states, for instance. Edo State is one that seems to be proactive. Looking at the announcement made by the Edo State governor, saying as a proactive government, we've taken steps to increase the minimum wage or minimum wage paid to workers in Edo State from the approved 30,000 naira to 40,000 naira in the height, which being the highest in the country. These are things that the state's government, Edo State government, is putting in place to make sure that the sufferings of Edo people is reduced. They're also saying that they want to improve network connectivity so that people can work remotely, and also power supply to homes. Do you think that this is lip service, or it's something that other subnationals should begin to look at, so that we don't leave the burden to the federal government alone?
And actually, we have a country where even the 30,000 naira minimum wage, many states cannot pay or have decided not to pay. Many states have refused to pay. Now, if those states haven't done this, it's beautiful to say, okay, I'm paying above the minimum wage, 40,000 naira. It is doable if the government is willing to. Our problem is not even the fact that we don't have money to do what we ought to do. All of these things are all issues government officials will come up to tell us. But if we really want to, if you are there because you are elected by the people, you know what to do. But again, 40,000 naira minimum wage, you want to pay the people. It is beautiful. You want to cut down the work days. The days of coming to work and then you sit back at home for certain days to do all that is necessary. That is beautiful. But again, we must not forget. In this case, it's not just about the man on the government worker. Oftentimes, issues are looked at and then we begin to talk about government workers. Oh, have we forgotten that our private sectors and private organizations in Nigeria, they are not even paying up to 20,000 naira? Have we forgotten? And these are people that will still buy from the market. There are people who earn as less as 7,000, 8,000 naira a month. And sometimes these people are even teachers in private schools. There are private school teachers in this country who earn as less as 6,000 naira per month. But they will buy from that market that is already inflated. They will enter transport to places of work where all of these effects are obvious. What then do we do? It is beautiful that the governor has come up with this. But beyond all of the rhetoric, what is the fate of the man who is not in the government sector? What is the fate of the man who is in the private sector? Would there be some level of enforcement to ensure that they do the same? What would the man on the street get from all of this? And these were the earlier positions of the labor movement, that before you remove subsidy, put all of these measures on ground. Ensure that all that is needed to cushion the effects are done. The number one thing that we would have done to cushion the effect is we would have revived the refinery. And then you remove it, and it will be as if nothing was done. But here we are, giving 40,000 naira as minimum wage. What is the fate and what is the status of 40,000 naira in this economy as at today? We have over 200% increase in the price of PMS. And this will invariably translate to every other thing in the market. Then what then becomes the fate of all of this? Sometimes some of us have had to spend more than we have spent in a week to our places of work. More than what we would ordinarily spend in a week, we have spent it in a day. Because of what? Inflation that comes with this issue. So it is very important that as much as Edo State government has done this, the government, all state governors must do the same. All state governments must do the same, must adopt pragmatic measures, visible measures, to help the people, to cushion the effect, and to ensure that source of livelihoods are not lost.
Now, talking about government and the people, what people are most concerned about is, well, how would the money saved from subsidy removal impact their lives? People don't trust their government. Just this morning, Nigerians woke up to the story of how the MD of Nigeria Air was interrogated by the Senate committee, and it turns out that the whole Nigeria Air launch was a charade, was a sham, and in fact a big scam, where they hired an aircraft from Ethiopian Air, branded it Nigeria Air, brought it to the country and claimed to have launched it. Today we're hearing, it was not a launch, it was just an unveiling to show Nigerians what Nigeria Air logo would look like on an actual plane. and this was something that gulped billions of naira. What do you make of the trust deficit between Nigerians? Because for many Nigerians, it's about what the monies would be used for. If we are not giving us, if you're not paying subsidies on our behalf to us to get fuel at cheaper rates, what are you going to use these monies for? Now, how do you think government should be able to tackle this, and what areas do you think government should be looking at to put the monies saved from, subsidy removal?
Well, it is very right for Nigerians not to trust the government. If you ask me, I don't even trust. I have I have every reason not to have any iota of trust for any government, because they've proven to be the same over time, and they've proven to be who they are in their character and disposition. And here we are. The fact that all of these have happened in the past, if this government is ready to be different in anything at all, the first thing that I would suggest is for the government to first ensure that we revive our refinery. Because the case of Nigeria is like a man who has yam or who farms yam and then harvests the yam and takes it to someone else and sell it to someone else and then go back to that person to buy pounded yam or buy roasted yam. That is what Nigeria has been doing over the years. It is only right that we revive our refinery. When we are able to do this, a whole lot, we have about 22 to 23 derivatives for crude oil. And we are losing all of this when we sell our crude oil to other countries. Again, we forget that when we are able to do this, we will create jobs for Nigerians and also boost the potential of us getting the needed foreign exchange, because we will be selling to other countries as well. Now, the thing is this: it is very important that we revive every aspect of our economy. Look at our education sector, public universities, public primary schools. It is an eyesore that in this same country that you and I are in, that we still find primary schools that do not even have seats, that do not even have roof or ceilings. It is in this same country that we have people who have hospitals that do not have the basic facilities or equipment. It is in this same country that we don't even have look at the major roads leading to so many states. All of these issues are things that the government must do. The government can invest in, put this money that you are supposedly going to save from subsidy, invest this money in every sector of the economy, and then we'll be on our way to becoming a better Nigeria. More so, let's not forget that the issue of Air Nigeria, as from the beginning, has always been a charade. If not so, why wait to the last minute and then of your day in office and then you are telling us you are launching Nigerian Air without our proper modalities being put in place? And here we are. And what will happen to such a person who has engaged, who has been able to deceive Nigerians? The person will go scot-free, because this is what we find ourselves in this country. That is wrong. Such a person should be prosecuted for public deceit, not just the deceit of one person or some person, but the deceit of the entire country, ridiculing the image of Nigeria in the international community. And that is what we should do.
Well
because
said.
if some persons are not used as example, many will do and get away with it. So what we need to do, having said all of that, beyond the fact that government, we need to invest in all sectors and segments of the economy, the government must ensure that corruption is tackled to the barest minimum. That is how we can win the trust of Nigerians again.
Okay, fighting corruption. We'll talk more about that shortly. Keep the conversation coming. You can join the conversation now. Start to dialing 09073530044 and 09087668888. We're talking about, the last move by the NLC, shelving its strike, its proposed strike. The strike was supposed to commence today. And looking at other sundry issues surrounding the fuel subsidy removal and the state of the country in general. You can join in now. Let's get talking. 09073530044, 09087668888. SMS and WhatsApp messages go to 09097054450. Keep the conversation with us. We'll be back shortly.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Let Betway take you to new heights with one of the most popular casino games around, Aviator. Place your bet and watch the plane fly higher and higher. Pick the right time to cash out and you could win millions, all from the palm of your hand. Sign up today at betway.com.ng. Terms and conditions apply. No under 18. Bet responsibly.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Can we play another song?
The good tunes just don't stop.
The good tunes just don't stop. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.
Please listen to this announcement. Abuja, have you heard of the Blue Ocean Project? The Blue Ocean Project is an initiative of C21FG launched to show ambitious and smart, as well as business-minded individuals how to raise funds for their businesses or projects without taking loans or dropping collateral. With this project, selected individuals will have mentorship access leading up to business funding and expansion. Who is eligible to apply? Anyone above the age of 20 who is desirous of improving their lifestyle can apply. We have slots reserved for only the first 50 people that will send OK as SMS to this phone number 070 38 81 3427 070 38 81 3427. That is 070 38 81 3427. Take that again 070 38 81 3427.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
And thank you so much for keeping it with us. This is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience you can count on. So the question is, did NLC sell out? We've got perspectives on this coming from my guest, Mr. Titus Gado, who says, well, it seems like the hands of the NLC was tied as they couldn't do much. There wasn't much they could do, judging by the fact that the federal government had secured or procured an instrument of government, rather of the law, an executive, rather ex parte motion that prevented or restrained the NLC rather from mobilizing and going ahead with the strike. Well, my guest has brought us different perspectives to this. We're looking at now the issue of the corruption that permeates the country in different levels, at different spheres. There seems to be deeply rooted corruption. So, Mr. Gado, I'd love to ask you, so yesterday or 2 days ago, Nigerians began to hear and see about, a crash in the prices of Jet A1, that's the aviation fuel, cooking gas, as well as even diesel. The price is crashing. Do you think, some people have said, look, this is a charade, this is some move to get Nigerians, to convince Nigerians that if they allow subsidy, that the prices of PMS would also come down someday. Do you think? What do you make of that?
Well, it's a beautiful thing to see that all of those other commodities are going down. But again, whether it is a charade or not, on the long run, we'll get to know. It will manifest its true color. But when I saw the issue, the dwindling price of the cost of Jet A1, I said, okay. But the thing is, how many Nigerians use a plane? How many Nigerians can even afford the same spare of light. These are also issues. How many Nigerians use cooking gas? One of the many issues that surround it. The thing is whether it is a charade or not, it will manifest its true color. It does not change the fact that the hardship is biting on the average Nigerian. What we are talking about is the issue of PMS, which almost every Nigerian use. Talking about the cost of food prices in the market, which every Nigerian must eat. We're talking about the cost of every other services that comes with it. Because as it is, you can no longer go to make photocopy of any document and make at the same cost as it used to be. It will also increase, if not double. Again, you find that you cannot also go to buy food items in the market as it used to be because they have to transport. And for those who are possibly in the east and in the west, the western part of Nigeria, they will also feel the bite in the meat that they used to buy before. Because the average man who used to transport his meat to down south will also have to increase because of the cost of everything. So all of these issues are the issues that we're talking about. Not all these other ones. Yes, they are very important. They are very important aspects of the society.
Very well. Mr. Gado, please hold that thought. Okay. Seems like we lost connection with the caller. Go ahead, please. You know, when
they
these
are
things,
very important.
Yes. So when these things happen, sometimes we always have this divide. Some Nigerians would say, "Oh, we don't want it," and some other Nigerians would say it's the best, which is what we've seen in the couple of days. Some Nigerians really supporting the removal of subsidy, while some are saying, look, this is the only thing that we enjoy from government. We do basically everything for ourselves. And at this point, government is taking the only thing that we benefit from government. Should we also continue to, go out and vote for people who would not be able to do anything for us or support our lives in any way? Before you respond to that, I'll bring in this caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Prince Yamacho.
Good morning, Clement Zion, Prince.
Thank you. We have all been clamoring for subsidy removal. And we know that subsidy removal is a scam. This former CBN governor, Sanusi, said it. Even Peter B. has also said it today in papers. Every Nigerian knows that it is a scam. What they do is just bring in fictitious claims of fuel supply to Nigeria, and they claim the money. You remember the case of this Farouk Lawan and Otedola, where he went to collect money that he may exclude his name among those people who were collecting this money, and the wahala that he encountered today. I think it's in jail today. So it's obvious that subsidy is a scam. Then some people now has come to face Nigeria's problem by removing it to just inaugural speech, boom, subsidy, gone. But that modality is in place. Where the problem is what Nigerians are going through today. But frankly speaking, talking of the consequences of this subsidy removal in general for the average Nigerian, we said it the other day on this platform, Money Rise, that much money will be garnered, no doubt. You can imagine somebody who's paying 195 for a liter, now pays around something, 1 Nigerian per 1 liter. And on the aggregate of all the Nigerians in the whole Nigeria and all these liters that we are buying every day, government will become exorbitantly rich. But if you know what has happened to the coronavirus donations, you know what has been happening to our oil refinery turnaround maintenance and even road maintenance, the kind of people who are leading us today. Anybody who is expecting that after all this money has been generated into the coffers of the government, that it will be used to build roads for us, turn Nigeria into El Dorado, all of us will now be living, in fact, maybe social welfare will go up. People will now be taking allowances for joblessness, this and that. My brother, is going to be a hoax. This is Nigeria for you. There's nothing will come to the common man in the streets from everything that government generates. That is my take, and I strongly believe it. All Nigerians who are listening to me today should mark it on their walls. Today, the date and the time, is broadcasting this program and we are talking about it. Nothing will come to the poor man from the process of subsidy removal. That is the kind of government we have found ourselves. And unless people will begin to face these realities, ignore the government apologies who will talk from morning till night because they want government officials to hear their voice. Ignore them and face our reality. Nigeria will stay where we are. There's no sustainability. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much for calling. Clement Zion Prince, you took and lend your voice. Mr. Gado, you hear Nigerians seem not to even believe that any of these monies recovered from subsidy payments would in any way, better their lot. But let's bring in more callers. 090-7353-0044, 090-8766-8888. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, hello,
good morning.
Good morning. My name is
Okechukwu. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. You see, to me, what the last caller does is a pure truth. The government is not, they are not in our side. The INEC is not in our side. The security agents are not in our side. The judiciary are not in our side. So what do they want the masses to do? Everything concerning the government, they are just running away from it. You went and hiked the price, and you are telling us that you want to generate money. For who? Why your citizens are crying, dying, in Hungary? Come to the 10 years where they are demolition and you see Papampola everywhere, and nothing is security agents are doing. They will burgle your shop, steal your things, gather you. Come and just, if you say it's a lie, there's a police station behind it. But you see these guys around this place, millions of them, in the FCC. Honestly, this country, I just don't know. I just don't know what is happening in this country. Please, they should try and reduce this fuel prices. Yeah, this fuel prices, because it fights Nigeria badly. Honestly, thank you.
Thank you very much, Okechukwu. Thank you so much for calling in. Now, the conversation continues. Let's get back with my guest. Mr. Gado, Nigerians, seem to be divided on this. Do you see a situation where, Nigerians will get further frustrated and on their own, even without the NLC, maybe even taking to the streets to protest the removal of fuel subsidy? Do you see that happening anytime soon?
You see, these are some of the issues. Nigerians seem divided. And this is why we are where we are. This is why we are. Look, let me also tell you, one of the issues that Nigerians showed themselves is the fact that we showed to be easily cajoled by persons in power whose interests we don't even know that we are fighting for, or because we are carried away with all manner of sentiments. Look at the charade and the propaganda that were flying around, that the Labour was acting the script of the Labour Party, was acting the script of Peter Obi. These are not true. You forget that Labour Party is a party of the Nigerian workers. And Nigerian Labour Congress and CUC showed that, yes, we stand our ground, that this is our party. We cannot leave our party to endorse another party. They gave opening ears to every other candidate. They interacted with every other candidate. Maybe Nigerians forgot that Labour interacted with Tinubu as well. When he made his presentation, Labour presented his own issues. But when it got to the point of propaganda, everybody started saying, even most persons started flying around because of these media influencers who were used to share this propaganda that Labour was acting the script of Peter Obi. But here we are. You are going to buy fuel at that amount, and you ask yourself whether it is the script of Peter Obi and all of that. Now, you find ourselves, Nigerians are still divided. Whether this should be true, whether Nigerians should fight for what is supposed to be their right. There is no government in the world where government does not subsidize provide some form of subsidy for the plight of the people. But it is in Nigeria, the only thing that Nigerians are enjoying, which is this subsidy. Government claims that they want to take it away without adequate measures, without putting on ground adequate measures to address the effects that comes with it. And here we are. Every livelihood is being threatened. Because as of today, 20,000 naira can no longer feed you for a month if it's used to. And so you are sitting down, still towing the path of sentiment, not wanting to do the needful. We forget that private schools are also going to increase their school fees. We forget that all this has been done without even considering the plight of the Nigerian on the street. And when we talk, we say that it is the corruption in the oil sector. Is it the man on the street that is stealing the money in the oil sector? Is it some form of gold or spirit that is stealing this money that we cannot address these issues as we ought to? If we continue to give into sentiment based on religion, based on ethnic affiliation or religious affiliation, we will continue to suffer what we are suffering, if not worse. But it is important that at this case, at this point in time, the labor movement, being the NLC and TUC, did the best that they can, and they are still doing it. But the Nigerian on the street must understand that this suffering is biting hard on him. And what should he do? What should he do? There are various coalitions of civil societies who are still making some measures of move and they're trying to push for a move. But there are some Nigerians as well who are divided and reading political undertones that does not exist to all of this movement. That is very unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. The issue today, the suffering today, is not a decider of whether you belong to a political party or not. You are buying from the same market with the man who voted either this party or did not vote this party in power. You are suffering everything that every man, irrespective of religion or irrespective of ethnic affiliation, is suffering. And yet you sit down to give some level of narrative that does not exist. So it is only important that Nigerians must understand that we have one common enemy and we have one, that the desire and goal should be one towards addressing all of these issues. Look at some countries, just a little increase, and people decided to fight for that which should be. But in Nigeria, we have remained docile over the years and receiving and saying that it is well, when it is not well, it is getting worse. Well, the faith lies with us, and that's why I told you here, Nacho, that if we are ready, and I have always said this, and will continue to maintain it, when Nigerians are ready for the desired change at any point in time, we know what to do. Because when that time comes, we will need to put away every sentiment that bites us. We will need to put away every discordance that seems to divide us and do the needful. But for now, maybe we are still, like Fela would have said, we are suffering and smiling. That is our case. We sit and give all manner of complaints. But I want to advise that when this gets to where it gets to, Nigerians should do the needful. Because the various labor movements have done their part. And they are still doing it. I hope that the agreement entered into would actually come to reality within the shortest possible time.
All right, and I think this would be a good place to bring in another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my brother Yeshidi. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Oh, good morning. What's your name?
God bless you. My name is Bibi Blessing. I'm calling from Otako.
Bibi Blessing, welcome.
Please, so I want to ask you a question. Wait, please, you go ask me you go answer me the question. May I come on my mind? Wait till the common man right? And since where our president, the first president, this man we come out to show.
President Buhari.
Yes. Now we know they get our rights. When we come out, at least now this radio we can see our feeling, we can see talk our waiting the border Nigerian mind or common man. We no fit afford 100 naira to buy the church card. We be masses, we poor people. Now we the voice our voice out. Nobody they listen for us. All I know, the radio now go they tell us say that they listen, that they hear. Sir, true to God, if they hear, why they cannot do what the common man they're supposed to do for common man? When vote come, they say when we come and go vote. They cannot give us our vote, and they cannot do the right thing where we demand for. What we demand for? Now, what of people where they know they work for government? What will be their benefit? What of people where they sell small particular things, pure water, all these things? What will be their benefit? Now, where did they say some go come from Maraba, go sell pure water for taco market here? Now, if you sell finish, all the money go enter transport. If you now really know say that they listen now, that they appoint our contract now, give all of that people, give senator, people where they don't already get, they see a president still they give their appointment. Why they cannot give radio people appointment so that they go listen for common man, what the common man what they go do for them? Look at for now. Look at how much somebody say take carry play, commit take pet play. Me and you will know it's not true, and it just scam us, scam Nigeria, the whole world. Pray will not be saying that we get the president bring a call for our country, we celebrate it, and our president sign the money, and now the place don't go the place where it belong to. Nobody can even question that before you know that they go sweep that matter or that happen. But if Yahoo, they go there after Yahoo. Once ESC go there after Yahoo, they say make they catch and make they kill and put for prison. This prison, I want to ask you, who this prison made for? It made for common man, for poor man, and we not made for this stealing people money, stealing Nigerian money, stealing our money to carry a go outside country. No hospital for Nigeria, no good market, nothing. Now we they work, now we they eat like rats. I want to ask you, common man no get right for Nigeria. Now that question where I want to ask that. And you get any person where above the law? All this funny, okay. Look at what we hear last year. The president where the governor when say they hear everything. They say CD money, they give us CD money. School never resume. We me and you will know. School never resume. They say they use how many billion fees children's school. Who be the children? Whether your PC they among I don't know. Now pray money don't come now, we go just fit. Now so that they scam us now. They say we they go borrow outside country money. My brother, I prove you wrong. We are not borrow any money. Now our money that they borrow for us, and they go carry another outside country play, come give us then Nigeria get that. Now where is the play? The person that do it now, he just go sit down, they comfortable. Before you know, they go fly outside country, go and stay for the house where he buy for Dubai. It's no good. What is our right? Transport now is don't cost. What of security where they pay 20,000? How much is inheritance? How much for cup of garri for market now? How much for noodle? Please, even I just say that they listen for us, make they do the nisu. If they do the nisu, we will not go they call every day. Because if they pay me, shall they eat what of my neighbor no go eat, what of common man? It's not good. If they want to do this, before our president even announce this first of the remove, he's supposed to sit down first. Hear the people, hear the common man, go to the villages. What do you want before I go to move? Or you buy bus, all this refined bus, where is it? Put there for road. If the person can afford 100 naira, we cannot complain. Go to the market. Let the price of things. First of all, handle the price of food for market first. Now they open border. Not be all the border they open. They open some, they open. Not be everything go to enter Nigeria now. I know what go to enter Nigeria. But anything where common man can afford, they're not going to allow me to enter Nigeria. But anything where the big man go free afford, now they go open border for. My sister, my brother, may we sit down now. We want make Nigeria better. We want make Nigeria good. Not because we want to make this corner with the hungry pass. No, we are studying for common man. Please, may you help us. May you help us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
God bless you. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That seemed like a therapeutic call. Seemed like she just wanted to get a lot of things off her chest, and that's why I couldn't interrupt her. So thank you very much for sharing that and putting that out. The basic feeling of an average Nigerian, it's just sad. It's when we talk about social justice, this is what we talk about. When some people feel like they're above the law, while others just have to deal with the law and face the law every time. When some people eat and some others cannot, when some people can afford the good life and others cannot, it's just really sad. Mr. Gado, I feel like Baby Blessing has said it all. You just give us your final line as we close.
All right, it is important that Nigerians understand that the government has, over the years, been much of a disservice to us. In a country where senators earn as much as 13.5 million, House of Reps earn as much as 9 to 10 million naira. The average Nigerian is meant to. The average Nigerian is meant to take home about 330,000 naira as minimum wage. You must come to the understanding that it is time our politicians be placed on minimum wage. It is time that our politicians be placed on minimum wage and made to serve Nigerians. When they are campaigning, we see all manner of posters coming to serve and all of those issues. Unfortunately, they are there to service their pocket. Nigerians must understand this is our enemy. The enemy is the man who is in power and to do the needful and is servicing his own pocket. It is right that we do the needful and understand that we must champion a common cause towards the development of Nigeria today and in the future for our children and children to come. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Titus Gado is a sociologist and public affairs commentator. He's spoken with us this morning. We really appreciate your contribution to the conversation this morning. Thank you so much for your thoughts and time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of you who have called in and to those whose calls I could not take. I'm really sorry. We'll do this again tomorrow at the top of the hour 9. Joining and share your perspectives on the issues with us. We would really, really appreciate it. Okay. My name is Ihanacho Prince. Business News is up next. And right after that, Martha takes over on the Midday Extra. Keep it here.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.